All right, friends, we are back at it and we've got a little bit of a problem. Check it out. Actually, not the biggest problem because look what we got back. We got this bad girl back in the shop, all painted and looking awesome. This is, man, this took so long and I'm so excited. So if you remember forever ago, we totally sandblasted and restored the frame. It's interesting, the KBS that I put on there doled out in the last year that we've had this at the body shop, which I'm not mad about because it actually hides some of the imperfections in the frame, but it looks so right. I'm so excited about this. I mean, they painted the wheel wells. If you remember, we KBS those. They look like junk. They went through, painted those, new radiator support. Everything here has been brought down to bare metal and done right. There's little imperfections in the paint here. Like you can see just a little speck of dust there. The body shop said, hey, let's get this thing together first. Bring it back. We'll wet sand it and we'll buff it one last time. That way, if there's any nicks or dings in the process while I'm putting it back together, it can all get taken care of at the same time. But check this bad girl out. I'm like, oh my gosh. I love this color. I'll put up a clip of it in the daylight. It's ridiculous. Here's our dash. It matches all the pieces, the ashtray, everything's just looking so good. So I am so excited about how this has all turned out. I mean, it is like, I wish you could just see in the daylight. It's just shimmers. It's incredible. Everything's painted up top. So this is all we're gonna put Dynamat in here. You can hear how it's kind of tinny. Dynamat that. We're gonna Dynamat this entire thing. I have new firewall insulation. Everything just looks so stinking good and I'm just so excited. They've really done a nice job. We did an antenna delete, so they actually redid the sheet metal here, got rid of the antenna hole. Another cool little custom bit that they did was over here with the gas cap. Got rid of the door because if you remember, we had to rebuild an entire bed all the way from scratch. So none of this is original to the truck, this bed. So this is the gas cap. So it's kind of cool. You push in and spin it and then it unscrews. All this orange peel here, that'll go away once they wet sand it. But that comes out. You just spin it in, push in and then turn just a little bit and she locks into place. Pretty neat, honestly. I'm just really excited about how this turned out. So next thing we're gonna do is Dynamat the ceiling and the floor and the inside of the doors. I bought a ton of Dynamat. Well, it's a different brand, but it does the same thing. So I bought a ton of that. We're gonna Dynamat the whole thing. I've got a new firewall insulation as well. But let me get to the problem that I ran into. Of course, I put off doing anything with the motor this whole time the truck has been in because I thought I had a ton of time and we've had so much going on this year. But look what I ran into. She looks fine, right? All good. There's some oil down in here because I sprayed some WD-40. I got the heads off, got it all cleaned up, getting ready to put everything back. I got a new cam, a 7106 comp cam, new lifters, timing set, everything. I'm getting ready to put it back together. And this bearing is munched up. And I don't know how many are like that, but I know that it was a bear to get that cam out of there. And once I saw that, I don't really have the tools or know-how to get these all fit right. So I'm not going to be rebuilding the motor anymore. I'm gonna take it to a place called Ekman's, and they're out of Rexburg, Idaho. And they came super, super well recommended by a lot of people on this kind of thing. So I'm gonna take it to them and have them go through the whole thing and set it all up. I'll bring the Holley Sniper as well. Oh, yeah, I forgot to tell you guys. I got a big old package from Summit. We got Holley Sniper, new distributor. I mean, it is in the whole 9 yards. I'll go into more detail on that later, but they'll get it all set up on here. Break in the cam. That way I know everything's good before I put it in the truck. So that's the next step over here. But luckily, that's one of the last things I got to put in anyway. I can do a lot of work without it. I got everything put together, I think, to take to the engine builder. I'll show you what we got really quick. I don't know if I've shown you yet the whole Holley Sniper system, but it's pretty cool. But I'll start over here and kind of go through what we're taking over to him. So I just buzzed some bolts and the oil pan back on the engine really quick. Everything's on the front as far as hardware and timing cover. I'm just gonna send him a complete engine that he can pull apart and see and make sure everything looks good. Got this baffle, got the Performer 390 intake. I had to switch intakes. If you remember, the other one was a 2-barrel intake, and that's not gonna work for this Holley Sniper kit. Got the water pump, which I think is in good shape. I don't know what they call this plate, but it's almost like a spacer plate that spaces out the starter off the flywheel. Got our balancer key. I've labeled all of this for the engine builder. That way he just knows. This is a block off plate. If you look on the side of the valve or the timing cover, it's actually got a mechanical fuel pump right now. This is gonna be a plate that will shut that off or close that off because we're gonna go electric fuel pump. New spark plugs. This is all new ARP head studs, head bolts. We've got a full gasket kit for the entire engine. We've got new water neck. This hardware is for the intake. When you go to an aluminum intake, they recommend that you switch to this hardware here. Here's our timing set. Our camshaft. Again, this is a Edelbrock, or it's a comp cam, 7106. And I believe it's like a 289 duration cam. I have to look at it again. Anyway, it should be pretty mild. Here's some new head covers, chrome head covers. I've got the heads put in here, ready to go. And the rockers, everything should be good to take to him, that he can just know exactly where everything is. This is where things really get good. So as you know, the Holley Sniper system is full electronic fuel injection. So this kit, I pretty much got the whole kit. Comes with a bunch of fittings here. More fuel line fittings, just a ton of fuel line. I think I got the one that needs a return, so it'll actually return it back to the tank. I can't remember. A couple fuel filters here. Or sorry, I guess one of these is a regulator. This is the filter here. Electronic fuel pump. This is your Hyperspark ignition. We've got the wiring harness. And then this is kind of cool. It's a Hall effect distributor. So I don't know if you remember when I was cleaning the engine, it toppled over, destroyed the distributor. And I figure if I'm going Holley EFI, I should just get the new distributor. This gives you, what's cool about a Hall effect distributor is that it basically gives you timing control on an old motor like this. So pretty neat. So this will all be set by the engine builder. He'll get it all set up. He's a Sniper EFI dealer, and so I guess he knows what he's doing. So the next thing we've got here is the PDM. So this is called a power distribution module, and essentially it just makes the wiring super duper clean. You have your battery positive and negative, and they've got a wiring diagram. So if I ever switch to like electric fans, it'll all be ran off the Holley Sniper system. This will run the fuel pump. This will run your ignition system. Everything will run through this. And then it's got these lights here that'll kind of tell you what's going on. Just a complete kit. It was part of, it wasn't that much more money to get that. This is the actual bit. This is the Holley Sniper 2. And so this thing is just, what's so cool about this with the 2 is it's got a little bit better shielding as far as the wiring goes, and the signals are supposed to be better, and it's got like an internal bypass, I think that's what they call it, for the fuel, where before it was ran on the outside. But this is gonna be pretty neat. It's gonna look pretty good up there. And it all just plugs in to the system. This will be the brains behind the whole thing. So this is a 5-inch display. It's supposed to be pretty high resolution. The videos I've seen looks pretty good. My only complaint is I really wish there's a way to wire in a backup camera on this thing. I think that'd be super, super nice, especially with an old classic. You're like, want to be extra careful. Be sweet if you could wire that in and have that. This will be, I'm going to put this in the glove box so you can't see it. I just think there's something cool about having it hidden. And then obviously all the wiring that's involved here. O2 sensor, a water temp bung here. So that'll go on that water neck right there. More ignition system. So this is a pretty cool complete kit. It's a little bit overboard, but I've just had the feeling all along that if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it right, and I'm gonna do it once. And I've already gotten so deep into this thing already. We're just gonna do it right. It's kind of fun to pull out all these little boxes, and I'm so glad that I have labeled everything. So it's like flywheel and bell housing hardware, motor hardware, seatbelt hardware, windshield wiper fluid, and cab mount covers. Like, this is just, I mean, I've well documented everything, and it's going to really, really help as I put these things together. It's already saved my bacon as I was looking for some of the hardware for the engine here. A lot of this stuff I've obviously already bought replacements for, the tail lights, all that. But when I put them away, I didn't know. So everything has just been super well documented and labeled, and I'm really excited to start moving forward. So we're going to get all these loaded up in the truck. It's dark outside, so there's nothing to see. But we'll get all these loaded up and take them to the engine builder tomorrow. And while he's working on that for the next couple months, we're going to get cranking on this bad boy. So what I'm going to be working on now is cleaning this up really well. We've got to scuff this up pretty good and clean it with acetone, because I'm going to actually cover everything, not this part. I might do that later, but I'm going to hold off for now. But I'm going to cover everything that's going to be either covered by the new firewall insulation, which I have in here, and the firewall insulation kit. And then what we're going to do next is actually put down the sound barrier, or the sound mat. And I did a lot of research, and ultimately what I came up with was this Silas brand. It's 120 mil, and it comes with 29 of these sheets. So it's about 30 square foot in each box, and I actually have 2 boxes. I'm keeping them inside though, just because it's starting to cool off around here. And I want to keep these very, very warm and pliable. And then I got this roller from Amazon. This helps you roll that down and get a good adhesion. But first things first is we're gonna scuff this up really good, clean it with a shop vac, and then we'll clean it with acetone as well. took a little bit of time to get done. About 2.5, 3 hours by the time I prepped, sanded, took care of kids, come back, went back, took care of kids again. So again, with this stuff, as you know, you don't have to cover every single square inch. I just wanted to deaden all of the flat areas that I could. And this is exactly 30 square feet worth of material. I got one little bit left over in the box. I'm glad that I bought 2 boxes because I'll still have enough to do the ceiling and inside the door panels, and I'll still have some left over. I even put a little bit on the inside of this, and I'll put some in here too. This is a lot thicker metal though. It's not as tinny. When I get it all together, if I feel like, well, I do know that this does need it, but I don't want the look of it. So that's, you know, I might put a couple strips here on the bottom of it to try to reduce that sound. This stuff's really good. It just adds mass, right? So it reduces the vibration. Anyway, so far I'm pretty happy. I mean, you can hear that. It sounds like a thud, which is completely different than this, which everything sounded like before. We'll get that done, get the ceiling done, get the doors done, and then we'll work on getting the firewall insulation put in and start getting the dash and everything put back in. All right, this video started getting a little bit long. So as you can see, I started working on some other things here. I didn't really film a lot of this because, quite frankly, I'd forgotten how this all went together. And so there's just a lot of reading the labels. Luckily, I labeled a ton of stuff here. Reading labels, trying to figure out what was going on. Going through all my bags of labeled everything and finding out what I've got in boxes. Anyway, so start getting it put back together. I got the wiring ran. I got the blower put in. I even had a little note on there to take the blower apart and clean all the leaves out. I guess it sucked leaves up into it at some point. So got that all cleaned up. This has got a couple clips that are broken on it in here. You can see right there. So I've got to rebuild those clips. I'll probably just build them out of JB Weld. We've got a new dome light. I just bought one off of LMC. New dome light installed. The switches for the dome light switches and the doors, those are installed. In here you can see where we start to pull the wiring through, and this is your blower motor here. Once I got that in, I scuffed it up really well and then gave it a nice coat of paint. So that's the plan with most of this stuff, is just restore it as we go. Next thing I gotta do is this brake booster. I gotta sand it down, get it repainted and cleaned up. It's just, you know, 3 years of a project and parts everywhere, but luckily as we're going, it's all coming together. So I feel really excited about the progress. I'll admit, I didn't touch it for about a month after it came back in, just because, you know, I think I said it earlier in the video, it's been crazy. The work has been insane-o, kids and holidays and all that stuff. So and it just felt really daunting because I had boxes full of parts and I knew that I had to get working on it, but it was just one of those things you put off. Anyway, so appreciate you sticking with me if you've made it this far in the video. I'm going to keep on cranking, but now that we're moving, I feel a lot better about the progress. And I appreciate everybody that's watched the videos up to this point. You know, I'm terrible at editing. I'm still trying to figure that out. Here we are 3 years later, and I'm just going to keep on cranking, and hopefully you guys stick with me until the end. I'm really, really hoping to be driving it this spring, and I think that we can get it done. So thanks for sticking around. Have a good one. Bye. I realized I didn't put a ton of clips of the truck after it was painted in the sunshine, and so I'll put a couple of those up. Keep in mind, a couple of them were taken by the body shop, so you can hear guys breathing in the background and swearing and whatever, but it's still fun to see. That color is pretty brilliant. So enjoy.